Today we're going to talk about Bryan Johnson. Who is Bryan Johnson? Well, Bryan Johnson is the founder of the Don't Die movement. Now, we're not going to go through the background, how he was raised, and all that kind of stuff, but I'm pretty sure something happened in his life and he came with the idea that, you know what, Jesus is my competitor, and this idea that because Jesus said you will die, nobody has ever thought about a different way of living and already expect that one day they're gonna die. And so he said, I'm going to come up with something because Jesus is my competitor, and since his whole slogan is, or Jesus' slogan is, one day you will die, his slogan is, don't die. Now, don't hear it from me, hear it from him on your screen right here.
The biggest psychological barrier in our current culture, which is we perceive inevitable death, is therefore anything that happens, like whatever, we don't care. And so we have to overcome, and this is why I've been playfully challenging the status and authority of Jesus Christ. I made a joke that Jesus fed wine and bread, accelerating aging and inebriating, and I will feed nutrients that will nourish and create life. Why is Jesus the continued representation of a philosophical group of 1 billion plus people? Why can't someone challenge that status and authority and say, no, it's not the resurrection, it's not the afterlife, it's this life, it's don't die?
Well, you heard it from him. It's not about the resurrection or the afterlife, it's now, don't die. Because Jesus was feeding people with bread and wine. Now, I'm not going to debate about that because the Bible is clear about God's stance on alcoholic beverages, but we're gonna go past that. His issue is, why is it nobody challenged Jesus' authority? And so therefore, he took up the challenge to be that. I'm gonna be Jesus' competitor. Now, should we instead ask the question, where is this idea coming from for Bryan Johnson? Because I would have some questions for him. How is he going to prevent death? Because he only talked about food, bread and wine, that's food. But how do you prevent death when you just walk out of your house and you start driving to go to work or somewhere and a drunk driver hits you and you die? How are you going to prevent that kind of death? How about you are flying to go to a different location and the plane loses a motor, or the wings breaks and you're losing fuel, and the only way you can land is on the sea, and we know landing on the sea is never that easy, and it can break and crash and then everybody dies. Or what if you are walking out, we're going for a walk, and somebody is not somebody driving, not paying attention to the road, and they're on their phone, or they are using that big old screen that most car companies are putting now, which if you have to change something, you have to now stop looking at the road but look at your screen to do something. And just like that, as you crossing the road by the actual light, stop light, and they don't see that it's a red light for them to stop, and they keep going and they hit you. So my question to Bryan would be, how do you prevent those deaths? Yeah, how do you prevent that? Now, his slogan is "Don't die" because he doesn't believe that only the resurrection and the ascension of Jesus Christ can actually help you with that not dying. He thinks he has his own way, which in a sense is the same thing that Satan was telling Eve in the Garden of Eden. Actually, if you can, let's go to the book of Genesis with me in chapter 3. Let's see what Satan told Eve about the idea of not dying. Is it possible not to die? Chapter 3 of Genesis, verses 1, and it goes like this on your screen. Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field which the Lord God hath made. And he said to the woman, Hath God indeed said, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat the fruit of the trees of the garden, but as of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, You shall not eat nor touch it, lest you die. Then the serpent said to the woman, You will not surely die. For God knows, in the day that you eat of the fruit, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. So, the same message that Satan told Eve, you can live forever without God. You don't need God to live forever. You don't need God to stay alive. Actually, you can eat it and you will not die. You know why? Because you don't have to live, or you don't have to have God within you to live. You can live from yourself by yourself. You are your own God. You can live eternally as you want to. God knows that once you eat that thing, you will be like Him. You will be able to live forever, knowing good and evil. But of course, as if that message wasn't enough, Satan now has brought that same message to Bryan Johnson. And Bryan Johnson goes on to leave out that lie that we need to challenge Jesus' authority. Same way the devil was challenging God's authority through Pharaoh. Who is God that I should obey his voice and let Israel go? Now, my question is, are there anybody else, that probably listening and buying into Bryan Johnson's theory? Yes. You wouldn't believe it, but it is true. Look at this on your screen right here.
So I tried Bryan Johnson's Live to 120 Plus diet for 3 months, and here are my biomarkers. So I actually lost 15 pounds of fat, which was kind of cool, and my HRV went up, and my resting heart rate, which is like super important for longevity, went down. I was pretty skeptical, but I feel a lot better and a lot more focused, especially after eating. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So I tried.
Unfortunately, some people are actually believing in that lies from Bryan Johnson, that they can live and not die without God. Now, let's listen to Bryan Johnson one more time, because he has one more message for you.
I don't think I'm going to die. It's the first time in human history where one can say this with a straight face.
This is Bryan Johnson, the man who's trying to not die. He is obsessed with these 3 things.
Sleep as your number 1 priority, 2, exercise every day, and 3, eat good foods.
Eat healthy, sleep well, stay fit. It's not rocket science, but it can help all of us live longer. So when
Unfortunately, some people will actually believe that lie. that they can live eternally without God. And here Bryan Johnson, unfortunately, is trying to come up with a solution to not die or to live eternally, when in fact Jesus already gave that solution. Like, why would you want to reinvent the wheel when it's already been made available for you? But no, remember, Jesus is his competitor, so he will always reject the solution that Jesus gave because he believes he can do something better than Jesus Christ. And the devil has convinced him that it is possible. Here's the funny part about the devil. Satan tells us stuff that he doesn't believe in. But the reason he tells you is so that you can believe that and reject the provision that's already been made for you. Satan knows whatever Bryan Johnson wants to do about not dying, he will always die. And Satan is doing everything he can to make sure that Bryan Johnson dies, and not just die that first death, but the second death. Because the first death is just a sleep. The second death is the one that you don't want to be part of. Satan already knows he is going to be in that second death. Therefore, as much people as he can take with him, he will do that. John chapter 3 verse 16 says it best. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that whosoever believeth in him, including Bryan Johnson, should not perish, but have everlasting life. What do you think? Do you think we should jump into that bandwagon of don't die movement? Or do you think we should reach out to people like Bryan Johnson and tell him, hey man, the devil has wrapped you in his fingers. Jesus can save you only if you accept him. If you don't accept him, trust and believe, you will die in your sin and will never be woken up again. But I hope this will help those of you watching, that please do not jump into that bandwagon of don't die movement, because only Jesus can give us life. As he said, I am the truth, the resurrection, and life. Jesus already made a path for us to live eternally. We don't need to invent the wheel. It's already been given to us for free. All we have to do is accept him. That's it. So, this was the Open World TV. Hope to see you guys again. Until then, bye for now.